Hello,
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 hello, hello,
hello,
hello,
hello,
hello,
hello,
hello, hello, hello. Hello. மேடம் உங்களுக்கு ஒரு மெயில் ஹலோ
இருக்கட்டும். இது போயிடுச்சு.
தெரியலையே. 16 days
இதுல ஸ்டூடியோ டெஸ்ட் பண்ணா மீடியா ஃபைல் வரல. என்ன பண்ணுது? சரி, நான் என்னோட லேப்லேயே கனெக்ட் பண்ணிவா. வந்துட்டேன் இந்த சைடு. லேப் இருக்கு. ஸ்டார்டிங் மீட்டிங்.
பண்ணி வச்சிருக்கேன்ல அதனால
ஹலோ, குட் ஈவினிங் ப்ரோ. ஹலோ, ஹலோ, என் வீட்டில் தான் கேட்குது. ஹலோ, அதுவும் இது ஃப்ளாஷ் ஆகுது. எந்த வந்து அனுப்பி. ஹலோ,
சவுண்ட் வருங்க. ஹலோ,
ஹலோ,
கேக்குது.
ஹலோ,
கேக்குது.
எங்க ரெண்டு பேர் பேசுறீங்க?
நம்பர் கேட்பாங்க.
இப்போ லேட்டாக வருதா அது? ஓ, நீங்களா? ஹலோ,
ஹலோ,
அதில் சவுண்டு குறைச்சிங்க. ஜெய் கேக்குதா? எனக்கு கேட்குது, உங்களுக்கு பேசுறது
கேக்குது.
கேக்குதா? இப்போ அது காதில் விழுதுல எல்லாருக்கும் கேட்குங்களா? ஹலோ, நீங்கள் பேசுறது வந்து நல்லா கேட்குறீங்க.
நான் ஜஸ்ட் இருக்கு.
பெஸ்ட் தான். பாட்டு ஒரு தடவை சொல்லு. நந்தா கேக்குதா? நந்தா, நந்தா கேக்குதா? நந்தா, லேட்டா வருது. நான் பேசுறேன் இப்போ.
எனக்கு பேசுங்க. நான் பேசுகிறேன். இப்போ கேட்குது, உங்களுக்கு கேட்குது.
நந்தா, நான் அப்ப பேசுனது இப்ப கேக்குது.
என் விளைவுகள் கேட்குது. பேசுறது கேட்குது.
அதான் நான் இப்ப பேசுற வாய் அசிக்கல பாருங்க. நந்தன் வருது.
கொஞ்சம் ஒரு ஒரு செகண்ட் செகண்ட்
லேட்டா
ரைட்டாக
வருது. பாருங்க, நான் பேசுனது லேட்டா கேக்குது.
அந்த ஒரு 2 செகண்ட் 3 செகண்ட் லேட்டர் தான்.
இது அப்படியே ஸ்கிரீன்ஷாட்.
ஹலோ, 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 ஹலோ. ஹலோ சொன்னப்போ எனக்கு
கால் விழுது. நான் பேசுறது 2 நிமிஷம் கழிச்சு தான் கேக்குது. இது ஏன் ரொம்ப உங்களை மாதிரி ஏன் வர மாட்டேங்குது? லே அவுட் மாத்தணுமா?
லேட் பண்ணிட்டேன்.
இல்லை உங்களை மாதிரி வரலையே இது. நீங்க தான்
நான் தான் ரோஸ்ட் பண்றேன், அதனால
இது 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 சொல்றேன், சின்னதாக வர மாட்டேங்குது. உங்களுக்கு ஃபுல் இன்விடேஷன் வந்ததுல இது ஏன் வரலன்னு கேட்பேன். அதுதான்
இந்த மாதிரி காட்டுதா பாருங்க.
ம்
லேஅவுட் மேலே
இந்த இருக்கு பழைய இருக்கு. கிளிக் பண்ண இது பண்ணீங்க சைட் பை சைடா?
இல்லை, இங்கே தான் நீங்கள் வச்சுக்கிட்டேன். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஸ்க்ரீனில் தான் ஃபுல் ஸ்க்ரீன்.
இல்லை இது இல்லை.
ஃபுல் ஸ்க்ரீன் ஆஃப் பண்ணும்.
இது இல்லை நான் இதுதானே இப்படி வருது இல்லையா, அது வரலன்றேன்.
மேடம் அது ஹோஸ்ட் தான் வந்து பார்த்தேன்.
போஸ்ட் தான் வருமா?
ஃபோனில் பார்க்கல இந்த மாதிரி வரும்.
நான் தான் வந்து மரியாதை சொல்றதா நல்லா ஃபோனில் வருது. ஓ
ஃபோனில் பார்க்கல.
ஸ்க்ரீன்ஷாட் வேணும், ஸ்க்ரீன்ஷாட்
ஹலோ
ஸ்க்ரீன்ஷாட் எடுத்துட்டு
சொல்லந்தா.
அண்ணா இல்லை இல்லை ஆடியோ செக்குக்கு தான் கிளியராக இருக்கான்னு, வேற ஒன்றும் இல்லை.
ம்
ஓகேண்ணா, தேங்க்யூ. ஓகே இல்லை, பேக்ரவுண்ட் ஓகே இல்லை, ஒன்றும் ப்ராப்ளம் இல்லைல்ல?
ம் ஓகே மேடம்.
நல்லா பேசுறது கேக்குதா?
ஓகே மேம், எனக்கு கிளியராக இருக்கு.
கேக்குது மேம்.
ஓகே. மாலினி மேம் கேக்குதா?
கேக்குது மேம். கேக்குது. கிளியரா இருக்கு.
கிளாரிட்டி இருக்குல்ல?
இருக்கு மேம்.
ஓகே, தேங்க்யூ.
ஸ்ரீதேவி மேம்.
சொல்லுமா.
மேம், காலேஜ் பற்றி எதுவும் இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் யாரும் வாசிக்கிறாங்களா?
எதை பத்தி?
இல்லை மேம், இப்போ கேதரிங் வந்து இப்போ நிறைய பேர் வெளிநாட்டிலேருந்து கேதர்
ஆமா.
ஆகுறாங்கன்னா, காலேஜ் பற்றி ஏதாவது இன்ட்ரோடக்ஷன் மாதிரி யாரும் வாசிக்கிறாங்களான்னு கேட்குறேன்.
இல்லையேம்மா.
ஓகே, பரவாயில்ல, விடுங்க, அப்போ இது போதும்.
அப்ப நீ போடுறியா, நீ சொல்றியா?
இதுக்கு மேலே எங்கேருந்து நான் ரெடி பண்ணுறது?
இந்த அபவுட் த காலேஜ்னு இருக்குமே, அதை அப்படியே ரீட் அவுட் பண்ணிடு.
இருங்க இருங்க இருங்க, அது
நீ வெல்கம் எம்சி ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணும்போதே
ம்
ஒரு கோட் ஆரம்பிச்சுட்டு நம்ம காலேஜை பத்தி சொல்லிட்டு அதுக்கப்புறம் ப்ரேயர் சாங் அப்படி இப்படி போ.
இருங்க, கோட் வச்சிருக்கேன், இது இல்லை.
அபவுட் தி காலேஜ் நான் ஒன்று இது கொடுத்துருந்துருப்பேன் பாரு, நீ தான் ஷார்ட் பண்ண ஞாபகம் இருக்கா?
ஆமாம், இருங்க
அதை சொல்லிடு, அதை சொல்லிடு.
இருங்க இருங்க
இன்விடேஷன் கார்டில் ப்ரௌச்சரில் இருக்கும் பாரு.
இருங்கடா, அதை தேடி எடுக்கணும்ல.
செல்ஃபோன்ல லாகின் பண்ணியிருக்க?
இல்லை இல்லை, சிஸ்டமில் தான் இருக்கேன், இருந்தாலும் நான் இது பண்ணும்.
இல்லை செல்ஃபோன்ல கூட பாருன்னு.
ஓகே, இருங்க, ட்ரை பண்ணி பார்க்குறேன். இல்லை, ஆனால் அது கொடுத்தேன்னா டைம் ஆகும், அதுக்கு தான் யோசிக்கிறேன். சரி
இல்ல
இருங்க.
2 நிமிஷம் குடுத்துருந்தா. அதுதான் இந்த ப்ரௌசர்ல இருக்கு இல்லையா? அது மட்டும் ஒரு 4, 5 லைன் மட்டும் குடுத்துரு.
ஓகே ஓகே. ம்
மலேசியால இருந்து ஒருத்தவங்க வராங்க.
ஓகே ஓகே, நான் இப்போ இது பண்ணுறேன். இதுக்கு தான்.
குட் ஈவினிங் மேம். பிரின்சிபல் மேம் இருக்காங்க நினைக்கிறேன். குட் ஈவினிங் மேம்.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, Nanda.
குட் ஈவினிங் மேம், குட் ஈவினிங் மேம்.
Jasmine, ma'am, good evening. Okay. Is my voice clear, ma'am?
எஸ் மேம், இஸ் கிளியர்.
Okay. Thank you.
எஸ் மேம்.
குட் ஈவினிங் மேம்.
மாலினி மேம், உங்க வீடியோ கொஞ்சம் ஆன் பண்ணுங்களேன், நான் போட்டோ எடுத்துக்கிறேன்.
ஒரே-
ஸ்கிரீன்ஷாட். ஜெயக்குமார் உங்களுதே ஆன் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. ஸ்கிரீன்ஷாட் போட்டோ எடுத்துக்கிறேன்.
Nanda, sir,
எஸ் மேம்.
video clear இருக்கா இல்ல ஏதோ adjust பண்ணணுமா?
இல்லை மேம், கிளியராக இருக்கு மேம், ப்ராப்பராக இருக்கு.
Okay.
ஓகே மேம்.
Today, ma'am, all the best.
எஸ் மேம், தேங்க்யூ.
Nanda, sir, fan sound ரொம்ப கேக்குதா?
இல்லை மேம், இல்லை மேம், அதெல்லாம் இல்லை, எங்களுக்கு கேட்கல மேம்.
கேட்கல. Okay.
ஓகே ஓகே.
ஹலோ ஸ்ரீதேவி மேம்.
எஸ் மேம், எஸ்
மேம் அவங்க லாகின்ல தான் இருக்கிறாங்க போல. ஏதோ இது கேக்குதான்னு பாருங்க. உள்ள அட்மின்
பர்மிஷனா?
அட்மிட் கேக்குதான்னு பாருங்க.
பர்மிஷன் கேக்குதா? எதுவும் வரலையே மேம், இங்க லாபில எதுவுமே இல்லையே. எந்த டைம்ல வராங்க?
அதுலயே தான் வருவாங்க. நேத்து வந்தாங்க இல்லையா, அதே பேர்ல தான் வருவாங்க.
மேம் லாக் அவுட் பண்ணிட்டு வர சொல்லுங்க. லாபில இல்லையே மேம். அன்னைக்கு ட்ரையல்ல வந்துட போறாங்க மேம். இன்னைக்கு அனுப்பிச்சு இதுல வர சொல்லுங்க. மேபி பழசுல லாகின் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்களோ. அத கேளுங்க. உங்களுக்கு மெயில் அனுப்பிச்சிருக்காரு.
ஜோசி லாகின் பண்ண முடியுதா?
வரேன் நானு அந்த பழைய இதுக்கு போயிட்டேன்.
இல்ல இன்னைக்கு இது ட்ரையல் இதுல இன்னைக்கு வேற இது அனுப்பியிருப்பாங்க. நான் போஸ்ட் பண்ணவா வாட்ஸ்அப்ல?
இல்ல நான் இது அந்த மீட்டிங்ல இருந்து போறேன்.
லாக் அவுட் பண்ணிட்டு அந்த ப்ரோக்ராமோட இதுல இருந்து வா. ஓகே
ஓகே.
ஓகே.
கேக்குதா? சவுண்ட் கேக்குதா?
மேம் கேக்குதான்னு
Hi, ma'am.
கேக்குறேன்.
How are you?
சவுண்ட் கேக்குதா?
Yes, ma'am.
ஸ்ரீதேவி
Yes,
மேடம் எப்படி
கேக்குது.
இருக்கீங்க?
நல்லா இருக்கேன் நான்சி மேம். எப்படி இருக்கீங்க? Fine.
நல்லா இருக்கும்.
Yes, voice is audible, ma'am. It's good.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
ஹலோ நான்சி மேம் எப்படி இருக்கீங்க?
நல்லா இருக்கோம். ஹலோ மேடம் தெரசா எப்படி இருக்கீங்க?
சௌக்கியமா இருக்கேன். அங்க எல்லாரும் நல்லா இருக்கீங்களா? ஃபேமிலி மெம்பர்ஸ்
sure.
எல்லாம். தேங்க்யூ.
Yes,
ஜோசி அவங்க பிரின்சிபல் மேம் அவங்கதான். குழந்தை தெரசா.
yes.
எஸ்.
Yes, yes.
உன்னுடைய பிபிடி வேணா ஷேர் பண்ணி ரன் பண்ணி பார்த்துக்கோ.
Okay. தெரியுதா இப்ப?
Yes, ma'am, is visible.
Okay. Good?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Clear, clear.
Okay, good. Okay.
Oh, ma'am. Okay, okay, Father. Okay, thank you.
ஸ்ரீதேவி மேடம், so நான் வந்து chat watch பண்ணணும்னு அவசியம் இல்லை இல்லையா?
No, no, Nanda will take care, ma'am.
Okay.
Nanda, professor of English department, he will take
Okay.
care of it.
Ma'am,
Okay.
I'll look through the chat, and if they pose any questions, I'll pose them to you at a later time. Once you are done, we'll have the question answer session. During that time, I'll read out the questions in the chat.
Awesome.
I'll keep a
Okay.
note of it.
Yeah, exactly. Because if I have to monitor the chat, it's going to distract me from presenting. So that's why. But if there is any particular question, so usually what I do is I will pause after a slide. If someone is asking a burning question, feel free to interrupt me when I'm just finishing the slide. Only if
Yeah.
you have to. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, sure, sure.
Okay, so I can pause if someone has any questions, I can definitely pause. And then, so I'm not going to monitor the chat. I will open the chat to see afterwards. Is that
Yeah.
okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, because sometimes it could be a little bit distracting. If I look at that, then I may just get distracted. So I just wanted to let you know. Thank you for monitoring that. Thank you.
Any guess? ஒரு செபாஸ்டின்லே பேர் வருது. அதில் இங்கே பேர் வருதா?
மொத்தம் 434 பேர் இருக்காங்க சார்.
இப்போ இது
இல்லை இப்போ பேசலாம் வரும்.
ஃபைன் ஸ்டார் வீடியோ தான் இல்லை. சரி,
கொஞ்சம் வீடியோ ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுறீங்களா?
இல்லை ஸ்டார்ட் வீடியோனா ஐ மீன் என்னைய பார்க்கணும்ல அவங்க.
ஆமாம் இப்போ
நான்
நந்தா இன் பிட்வீன் யாராவது வாய்ஸ் அந்த ஆடியோ ஆன் பண்ணிட்டாங்கன்னா கொஞ்சம் பண்ணிக்கொள்ளுங்க.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sure. I'll give the instructions beforehand.
ஓகே நந்தா.
Okay, ma'am.
நான் குரூப்ல போட்டிருக்கேன் பாரு, ஏதாவது கொஸ்டின் இது கொடுத்த இல்லையா? அதுல இருந்து ஏதாவது ஒரு கொஸ்டின் கேட்டு சாட் பாக்ஸ்ல போடுச்சு.
Ma'am, 1 minute.
அவர் பேரில்
Hello. Jaykumar, sir.
சொல்லுப்பா.
Sir, என்ன co-host மாத்திருங்க sir, so that I can unmute people if by mistake யாராவது வந்து they switch on their mic. என்னால் unmute பண்ண முடியும். அப்படியே co-host மட்டும் just give me access, sir.
உங்களுக்கு கோர்ஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க.
ஆமாம் சார். Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Good evening, dear participants. We will start the meeting shortly. We'll start exactly at 6:05 IST, that is Indian Standard Time. So we will be starting exactly in 3 minutes from now. So please wait. We are just giving a couple of minutes for the other participants to join us. Thank you. It's 8:05. Sorry, it is 6:05 and let us begin this webinar. Ma'am, could you please start recording so that we can start the webinar?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Nanda. You can start.
A warm and cordial greetings to everyone who have linked up online on this delightful Friday evening in India. A good morning to those from the US and a very pleasant evening to those from India. I am Mr. Nanda, Assistant Professor of Pedagogy of English, and I'll be the MC of the day and the moderator for the interaction sections. Let me begin again by giving a warm greetings to everyone, and I would like to first and foremost give a few words of introduction about our college. Loyola College of Education is a Jesuit teacher education institution established in June 2007, completely owned and administered by the Loyola College Society. It's registered under the Society Registration Act and is affiliated to National Council of Teacher Education, India, and it works in affiliation with Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, a state university in the state of Tamil Nadu in India. Our college has been accredited at A grade with CGPA 3.79 by NAC, National Accreditation, in the first cycle, which is the highest among the colleges of education in India. In second cycle, it was re-accredited at A grade with CGPA of 3.48 by the same. Our college serves with the basic aim of providing Jesuit education to form compassionate, committed, competent, conscientious, and creative men and women for others. The mission of the Jesuits is crystallized in their preferential option for large number of Catholics, Dalit Catholics, first generation learners, orphans, semi-orphans, differently able students, neighborhood children, refugees, migrants, gypsy children, and economically poor and vulnerable students. Our college has succeeded a great deal in providing admissions to students from the marginalized communities, and we are doing a proud and great job in providing education to the generations that are following here. And with these words of introduction about our college, I think we are all ready to start this event. Let us begin this event by seeking the blessings of the Divine Almighty. I request everyone to please rise for the prayer song, followed by Tamil Thai Valthu, an anthem extolling the virtues of Mother Tamil and her greatness.
You are my strength when I am weak. You are the treasure that I seek. You are my only love. Seeking you as a precious jewel, or to love might be a fool. You are my only love. Taking my sin, my cross, my shame, rising again, I bless your name. You are my only love. When I fall down, you pick me up. When I am dry, you fill my cup. You are my only love. Jesus, Jesus, Lamb of God, worthy is you are my strength when I am weak. You are the treasure that I seek. You are my only love. See you as a precious stone, Lord, to abide me a fool. You are my only love. Oh, Jesus, Lamb of God, worthy is your name. Jesus, Lamb of God, worthy is your name. Jesus, Lamb of God, worthy is your name.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Daddy, you should see this picture. Who is this?
It is a great and delightful thing to welcome anyone and everyone whom we know to this occasion. Dear students, please unmute your audio. I'm sorry, please mute yourself. And I think some of your videos are on. Please ensure your videos are turned off. Thank you so much. Okay, anything doesn't become interesting unless something like this happens. So we have to just go with that. Okay, so let us now that we are all back to business, with great pleasure, I now call upon Ms. R. Sridevi, the coordinator of Training and Placement Cell of Loyola College of Education, to welcome the gathering.
Thank you, Nanda. Welcome the challengers. Look for the opportunities in every situation to learn and grow in wisdom. Respected and highly esteemed resource person, Mrs. Josephine Nancy, Production Manager, Information Systems at Harvard Medical School, USA. Reverend Father V. Sagairaj S.J., Secretary, Loyola College of Education. Dr. L. Korendi Thirusil, Principal, Loyola College of Education. Delegates from various universities and educational institutions, PhD scholars, students from other institutions, teaching fraternity, and dear students of first year and second year Loyola College of Education, good evening one and all present here. On behalf of LCE family, it is my great pleasure to welcoming you all to the online international webinar. Dear staff and friends, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome and introduce our chief guest of the day, Mrs. Josephine Nancy, Production Manager, Information Systems at Harvard Medical School, USA. She has done her Master of Liberal Arts Management at Harvard University Extension School. Nancy has been working in information technology for nearly 20 years. She was recruited to Harvard University in 2015 as IT Business System Analyst. She graduated in management degree from Harvard University Extension School in 2019. She was promoted to work as a production manager of information system at Harvard Medical School in 2020. She was raised in Chennai and went to Anna University for her undergraduate degree in industrial engineering. Nancy is university gold medalist in Anna University. Nancy also received the prestigious award, Dean's List Academic Achievement Award for master's degree. Outside of work, she enjoys spending time with her family and friends, reading books, walking, and enjoying the nature. On behalf of LCE family, we welcome you, ma'am, and thank you very much for being with us. Welcome, ma'am. With great pleasure, I would like to welcome the backbone of our college, Secretary Reverend Father V. Sagairaj Vijayan. He is a strong advocate for the education and well-being of every member of the institution. Welcome, Father. I would like to welcome Dr. L. Korendi Thirusil, Principal, who is an efficient leader and guides the students. You are warmly welcome, ma'am. I wish to extend my warm and hearty welcome to all the delegates from various university and educational institutions, PhD scholars, students from various institutions. Welcome all. I would like to welcome the teaching fraternity of Loyola College of Education. Welcome, friends. Last but not least, I would like to extend my warm welcome to the first year and second year BA students of Loyola College of Education. Welcome, dear students. Once again, on behalf of LC family, I extend my warm greetings to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for such a warm and cordial welcome. I feel extremely elated to invite now a man of great dynamism, leadership, and immense knowledge, the secretary of our institution, Reverend Father V. Sahayaraj S.J., to felicitate the gathering.
Am I audible, Professor Nanda?
Yes, Father. Yes, you are.
Good evening, ma'am, Miss Josephine Nancy Jagaselvan, the resource person of this international webinar. We are very happy to have you in our midst online. Thank you very much for sparing your time and joining us this evening. A respected resource person, Dr. Kurandai Teresal, the principal, Professor Sridevi, the coordinator of a training and placement cell and the organizing secretary of this webinar, dear guests who have joined us online at our request from various places of the globe, my dear teaching, non-teaching and students of Loyola College of Education, a pleasant evening. On this Friday evening in India, of course, it's not the same in the States, I know. On this Friday evening in India, we are gathered on this platform in order to be enlightened intellectually on a very interesting topic. Now, when we are done with this week's hard labor and should be left free to enjoy the weekend, is it just on the part of the organizers to gather us to think seriously? My dear friends, it's all quite possible that some of us, including myself, might put before us this very same question. On the one hand, the institution suggests or offers a platform to undertake this serious exercise. On the other hand, my mind suggests that I should be left free to cherish and enjoy and make the best use of the weekend. And this is how, on a minute scale, I think, my dear friends, arises a need to balance my work life. In the brochure prepared for this webinar, it's said that the sole aim of a Jesuit education is to form people of 5 C's: compassion, commitment, competence, conscience, and creativity. Well, since our college being a Jesuit institution, it's said this way. But real education offered in any good institution anywhere in the world should ultimately produce such people of a high caliber. But how can one still be compassionate, committed, competent, conscientious, and creative when the person has not learned how to cope up with the unavoidable, at times stressful situations in the workplace? Especially in our Indian context, in particular in the context of Tamil Nadu, where the recent researchers have pointed out that there is a slight decline of interest in the younger generation to become school teachers because of the atrocities in schools of which we ourselves have been eyewitnesses. I'm all convinced, my dear friends, that it's in this background that we are facing concretely. This webinar on work-life balance is going to throw clear-cut light on how we are to prepare ourselves to be teachers, to form teachers in order to create a meaningful student community in future. I'm thankful to the organizers for this opportunity, and I am very much grateful to Ms. Josephine Nancy Jagaselvan, the resource person who has, in spite of her hectic schedule, has joined us all the way from the United States to enlighten us this evening. May we all try to draw the maximum fruit out of this webinar from the knowledge of Dr. Josephine Nancy, and wish you all good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Father. Thank you for such beautiful but succinct words. I think everyone are waiting to hear from you, ma'am. Without much further ado, I request our chief guest to address the gathering. Ma'am, the podium is yours.
So much for a great introduction. And I'm really grateful for this opportunity and to share my thoughts and to present about work-life balance. I appreciate you taking time after a very long week, as Secretary Father V. Sahairaj had indicated, that it must have been a very long week for all of you. My apologies for having to do this on a Friday evening just to work out the timing difference for me. And otherwise, I would have done it during the daytime for you. So I would definitely like to thank Secretary Father V. Sahairaj, Principal Kurandai Terasal Madam, Organizing Secretary R. Sri Devi, my dear sister, Dr. Jasmine Christie, and also for Professor Nanda for introducing me and also giving me this great opportunity as well. So I want to say that we do have a lot of cultural differences between where I was raised in Chennai and after coming to live near Boston I live in a state called Massachusetts in United States. And but there are some concepts that I would like to share with you. I am no means a great expert in this, but I have lived to experience these concepts. So as one among you, I want to share my experience and to just whet your appetite on this subject as well, to see if you can practice work-life balance by yourself, because no one can do this for you. You have to figure out yourself with these concepts. And you could definitely come to a conclusion of a great work-life balance. And I also have to give you, usually before we start speaking, we always give a disclaimer. So this is my disclaimer. There is no one here to judge or to measure if you have a work-life balance. There is no measurement available for you. It's your satisfaction, it's your happiness in life that is going to decide how you are going to work out or learn about this work-life balance. I'm going to start sharing the presentation. So as you can see from this picture, it is a really fine balance. I promise you, you're not going to fall into this pit, but you are going to make it across life itself. So I want to ask you this question. How are you feeling today? And how is life in general for you? Is it being very monotonous, or you're feeling happy about your job, your education, your family, friends, and other activities that you do during the week and also during the weekend? Do you have a lot of energy during the week, or are you feeling exhausted and you are almost surviving? Are you working enough hours or you're working long hours? This is a question I ask myself. So I am asking you the same questions to get you to this subject of work-life balance. What if I said you have 2 more hours in the day? Is that going to help you to achieve what you want during the daytime? So please follow along my presentation. I promise I'll get to the subject. So we do have a lot of responsibilities, each and every one of you. Dear educators, you have work to do, and some of you may have children, some of you may have parents that you have to take care of, and some of you and all of you, I suppose, will have friends, and many of you are educators. You have to educate yourself constantly to keep up with the field. And even in the information systems that I come from, we are constantly educating ourselves. So there is a demand placed outside of work, outside of family, outside of your personal life to educate yourself. And And on top of all this, you are expected to take care of your health because you have to go to the doctors. And the doctor will say, have you taken care of yourself? Are you eating healthy? So there's a lot of responsibilities that we have to consider. Do you consider yourself blessed to have a work and everything else in life? Or do you even think about, okay, I want to do something better at work? I want you to think about the relationship that you have with all of these components in life. Students, you may not have children, you may not have a lot of responsibilities at this point of time, but eventually you will have those responsibilities. Do you even think about how would you organize yourself? How would you be able to tackle these things when they show up in your life? I'm not saying you have to be 100% ready, but I just want to ask these questions if you are considering thinking about what these things are coming your way. So I want to pose this question again. Is there a balance at all to work, education for students, and life itself? Researchers say the happiest people are those who have strong relationships, social relationships, and able to meet the basic needs. So social participation and engagement provided by employment and workplace through which occupation correlates to happiness. So higher the occupational status with higher levels of social prestige and power, greater the reported level of happiness. I want you to ask this question for yourself. You don't have to say it out loud. Do you think you have a balance in your work and life, which means personal life? How would you rate your life now? If you can start thinking about that, many of the concepts that I'm going to share with you will make sense for you. So in the US, we always throw in a cartoon because this is a very heavy subject of work-life balance. So you can see here, this is a cartoon just to drive home the point of someone trying to achieve work-life balance by adding more work in your personal life. So you can see it's laughed at because everyone wants to have this work-life balance. This is just your thought-provoking cartoon. If you want to remember, even if you forgot everything what I said, maybe this cartoon you would remember the image. I want to share some of the details of my personal life so you can see it is not all theoretical. It should not be that way because if I don't practice something, I wouldn't be speaking about that at all. My story is that we moved to the US, the United States, in 1997. So I started to work in the year 2000. My son was only 4 years old at that time. No problem with work-life balance. I was working only 7 a.m. till 3 p.m. and came home, took care of him. We did everything together in the evening, in the weekends, and everything. My work-life balance started to shake a little bit when we had our first daughter in 2006. I felt heartbroken to go back to work after 4 months of spending this time with my wonderful daughter. Still, I have a wonderful husband, and we were able to manage this work life to a certain extent. And we brought babysitters to home to take care of our daughter when I went to work so that I have some kind of a peace when I went to work. It was hard. Trust me, it was hard. and but we had to keep going with the work. And we had our third child. She's our daughter. And now our world even turned upside down. So we had to figure out how we can do this. We loved all 3 of our children. We loved all of them. And we also had a career. We also had to go to work. So how do we do this? My youngest daughter was only 18 months old when I went back to work again. With a lot of perseverance, I got this job because my husband was traveling for almost 5 years. And I had to take care of the drop off, the pickup, and so much more. So at this point, I would say we were working long hours and late nights. As you can imagine, there is no home help. We cannot afford someone to come home and take care of all the things for you. We used to clean the house, fold clothes, get ready for the next day in the night, and also catching up with work. Sometimes I went to bed at 2 a.m. in the morning. I hardly could sleep 3 to 4 hours a day. That was a luxury. Sleeping was luxury for us. There was emotional stress to balance. You are just trying to survive the day with work and also taking care of family. As you can see, every one of us, you don't necessarily have to be a mother, a working mother. You are in your own way trying to balance many things in your life. And I was eating unhealthy meals because I didn't have time to prepare healthy meals, didn't even have time to think about it, and no time to exercise to even have that mental wellness. And of course, I was irritated because of the workload and emotional stress that I was going through, and exhaustion because I couldn't sleep, and also constantly working towards the next day. And as you can imagine, all our family, extended family, are in India. So we had no help and we had to figure things out ourselves. And I was actually developing chronic stress and almost reaching to the burnout with no relief in sight. So I am not alone in this process. You can say, okay, you live in the United States, things must be so different for you. Maybe not in Tamil Nadu, but I just want to draw your attention to the statistics of United States, because we are not in any way better than anyone in the developed world. You can see that in the United States, we work longer hours than any other developed countries. And 48% of us consider ourselves to be workaholics. And we do 94% of the time of us, we work more than 50 hours over the week and weekends. I have done even 70 hours a week and the weekends as well. And there are 66% of the full-time employees like me. There is a possibility we don't have work-life balance. And 23% of the organizations, the companies, believe they are promoting work-life balance. You have to see the other side of the coin. That 77% of the organizations don't promote work-life balance. So you can see there is burnout, there is chronic stress, and 35% of us, 35.7% of us have trouble balancing work with personal obligations, which adds stress to your life. And we are stressed out employees who spend about 50% more on healthcare costs. And 77% of employees working full-time, we have experienced burnout more than once. Can you imagine what it can do to you? And 83% of us, we say our personal relationships have been negatively impacted by work. So the Better Life Index authors say long work hours may impair personal health, jeopardize safety, and increase stress. So we all know that stress can lead to a lower quality of work and eventually burnout. A little bit of stress is good because it motivates you to do more, but too much stress will make you feel detached in life. But I want to show you that the chronic stress and the burnout can happen to the best of us. Today, you may not struggle, but maybe in the future, or someone in your life may be suffering from this. Stress is bad for your heart. When we are stressed, we release a flood of fight or flight hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. These hormones increase our blood pressure and heart rate. It is okay if we are stressed about a predator nearby and we need to run away, but long-term stress is harmful, as well as the cardiovascular damage that stress hormones do. Stress can impair our immune system and disrupt sleep. One report suggested that stress contributes to 120,000 premature deaths every year. So I want to highlight many of the effects of chronic stress and burnout that can happen. There are sometimes you think, okay, I can manage this work life. I can manage this. I can get through this. I will get through this okay. I am talking about someone is on the call, I think. So I'm talking about chronic stress. I'm not talking about 1 day, 1 week, or 1 month of stress. This could be stress that is taking over many months and also sometimes many years. And chronic stress occurs when employees are constantly stressed. It can lead to, can you please mute your phones? It can lead to mental health issues such as depression, anxiety, and insomnia, and many health issues like chronic aches and pains, heart troubles, and hypertension. And burnout happens when an employee suffers too much stress over a long period of time. And it can also cause mood swings and irritability to fatigue and decrease in productivity. So you have to take sick leave. It can be costly for the organization that you work for. And we also see from statistics, $190 billion is being spent every year to address physical and psychological effects of burnout in the US. And because of, I work from home all the time, so that is a sedentary lifestyle that can also contribute to higher risk of heart disease and high blood pressure. According to Mayo Clinic, if you spend most of your time working and don't take time to balance your time outside of work, you can experience fatigue, lost time with friends and loved ones, and detrimental health effects. So poor work-life balance can cause stress, which worsens your health and put you at risk for substance abuse, says the Mayo Clinic. So when you're honoring your values, you're very fulfilled, says the life coach Janine Graziano. When you're honoring someone else's values, that's where the burnout happens, because you are trying to keep up with other people's needs and desires for you. Even if you have absolutely no responsibilities at home, you have to take care of yourself to not work long hours for too many months or years. There are life events that can happen that you may have to work long hours during certain times, during certain months, and even a year in your life so you can progress in your career, or you have to take care of a new baby, or you're getting married, or you have to take care of your parent. There are times that you have to take care of them. At the same time, please remember to take care of yourself. So this is not a problem which is affecting only people in India or the United States. This is a chronic problem across the globe. I don't know whether it's a better news or good news or bad news, but I just wanted to put these facts in front of you because you are educators, you are students who can analyze this data and think for yourself. So on the left-hand side, you can see the countries with the worst work-life balance. And on the right side, you see the best work-life balance countries. I want to start with that. So this statistics is published by the international organization called OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, that works to build better policies for better lives. Their goal is to shape policies that foster prosperity, equality, opportunity, and well-being for all. So if I start with the best countries, it's Italy who has the best work-life balance. So employed Italians had the most time for leisure and personal activities because only 3% were working long hours. And Denmark, Norway, Spain, Netherlands are also ranked highly. Unsurprisingly, the most important aspect for a healthy work-life balance is the amount of time people spend not at work. How many people work very long hours and how much time remains for leisure. So this applies to all of you. Even if you do not have a lot of responsibilities at home, it applies to you as well. And you can see Mexico, Colombia on the left side of the image. Costa Rica are struggling a lot in their work-life balance. I want you to see United States and United Kingdom are part of the worst countries. India was not included in this statistics, but I have more in the next slide. So I just want you to think about this and give some thought about this as well. So these are some of the international statistics that you can find online on how they fare with the work-life balance. You can see Italy has only 3% of the workers who have put in greater than 50 hours a week. And US have about 10.4% who worked long hours. And Mexico struggles the most, as you saw in the previous slide. And Costa Ricans and Colombians also are in the same boat of having worst work-life balance. And United Kingdom ranked 14th according to this Better Life Index of OECD in 2020. And Singapore, 58% of the students, they want to anticipate work-life balance in first employment. So this is why this is a challenge for the students. How are you anticipating your first employment is going to be? Sometimes it's tough. The first job, you may have to work harder until you establish your career. So when you establish yourself, can you work towards establishing a good work-life balance is the question. And in Singapore, 41.8% do not want demanding jobs. That means they are working towards a work-life balance. You know, Singapore is one of the most developing and developed country. And New Zealand is on the far right of less than 50%, they had excellent good work-life balance. And 15% believe they had a bad or extremely poor work-life balance, much better than the United States. So coming to India, only 37% of female professionals want to leave the current job because of India's poor work-life balance. I was happy to see at least there was 37% of you who are working towards that work-life balance. And only 28% of the male respondents were likely to resign. These are statistics. These may change in the next few years because, as you know, the younger generation are more aware of the work-life balance and they want that for themselves. So at this point, you may ask me, why do I even care about this? You may say, I am happy where I am at. I don't have to worry about work-life balance. Unless you are close to retirement, work-life imbalance can happen to anyone. You may be a student today, but you may eventually come across this at some point which can upset your balance. Something can happen in my life to upset my work-life balance because this is an ongoing process. So there could be several potential sources for stress to keep us at night: job security, length of working hours, work-life conflict, high demand, low control positions. So many things can cause you stress. So one study on the effect of exposure to harmful workplace practices on longevity found that college-educated workers experienced a 5 to 10% decrease in life expectancy if they worked in a high-stress environment. For workers without a college degree, the decrease was even higher, 12 to 19%. So the hours that you work can also impact your longevity. I was surprised to read this. The recommended working week is 40 hours. That's what it is in the United States. But working 8 extra hours more than these 40 can reduce your life expectancy by 9 years, according to the data from World Health Organization. And for every hour over 48 per week, you lose another 2.25 years from your life expectancy. So nonetheless, working time clearly has a significant impact. I'm preaching for myself because these are some of the challenges that we continuously have at work as well. And you can see working 55 hours or more a week increases the risk of anxiety and depression. On the other hand, Australia has the 4th longest life expectancy at 82.9 years. Guess how they do it? They have low vaccination, they eat 3 times more than global average, they have extremely high rates of alcohol consumption. 85% of Australians like a drink, and they consume a lot of alcohol each year. But they do perform better than their global peers is their work life. The average person works 38 hours per week, less than the World Health Organization benchmark. I think everyone has to pay attention to this. So why work-life balance? To achieve better mental and physical health for yourself and overall happiness. No one can measure happiness in your life. It's yourself that you can tell, are you satisfied? Are you happy with what you're doing? And work-life balance will definitely improve your relationship with people around you. And personal well-being. As a person, how are you doing? How are you taking care of yourself? If all of these are fulfilled, you will be great at what you do at work. And of course, it's going to benefit your organization. And overall, you're going to have a better quality of life. Consider managing your work-life balance as another part of your job. It is a process that takes effort. You're not going to be able to achieve it. Set expectations for yourself. You are not going to be able to achieve it in a week, in a month, or maybe more than a year it's going to take for you to achieve it. But when you handle it correctly, when you desire for it, when you work towards it, it pays off. This is what the career expert and CEO of Amplio Recruiting, Chris Chauncey, was saying. So happiness is an indicator of the overall qualities of your life as a whole. It consists of your well-being, physical activity, dietary choices, biological processes. So life circumstances, meaningful relationships, family, work, employment status, income, and health conditions are all associated with happiness. This is not a magic bullet. You can't take a medication or a pill and think that it's going to happen by itself. It's all in the power of your hands to make this happen. So that's my next slide. Does work-life balance happen by itself? Good work-life balance is not to let work run your life, but devote specific amounts of time to work and also for your loved ones and also for yourself. Sudden career change, heavy work duties, increased responsibilities, or children may jeopardize a good balance. You have to make deliberate choices over a period of time to achieve work-life balance. Again, another cartoon. So this is a famous character in the United States called Dilbert. So the secret to having a rewarding work-life balance is to have no life, says one person. Then it's easy to keep things balanced by doing no work. So simple and yet so genius. It was hiding in plain sight. So this is a joke. This is a cartoon again to help you think about this. So you might say, if I had no work, no life, I don't have to care about this. But you are all here because you're educators and you are students, and also my family, my friends are here. At all points of life, you will face this challenge of balancing your work life. So what is work-life balance anyway? So healthy work-life balance is the amount of time people spend not at work and the time used on leisure and personal pursuits. This is no way I'm telling you to completely ignore work. That's not what I'm telling you. I would not have been able to be promoted or do well at my work if not for having a great work ethic. I also want to talk about great work ethic at this point. Our parents back home in India have really instilled those qualities of great work-life ethic in us. And we have shown that to our own children as well. My son has a job and he also has a great work ethic because of what he saw in us. But to have a work-life balance, you should also think about what do you do outside of work for leisure and also for your personal pursuits. So it is a fine balance act. So it's a state of equilibrium where a person equally prioritizes the demands of one's career and the demands of one's personal life. There is no one who's going to tell you exactly how to do it. We can only give you some concepts. We can only give you some foundational words about this. And you make the decision. You drive your own work-life balance. Having the flexibility to get things done in your professional life while still having time and energy to enjoy your personal life. They go hand in hand together. Because if you don't enjoy your professional life, you won't be able to enjoy your personal life. If you don't have a good personal life, you won't be able to do well in your professional life to the best of your ability. So what is work-life balance? You have to spend time for personal care. So this is a healthy balance, again, between work, family, personal commitments. Other than work, I'm sure you are all great at work and also educating yourself. Other than taking care of yourself, think about the people around you and invest time and effort for that relationship with the people around you as well. You have to set boundaries. You cannot say yes to everything and think that you're going to have work-life balance. It takes courage to say no to some of the things. I am very protective of our family time. And there have been times that I had to say no to some of the responsibilities because that will take away my time from spending with my children or with my husband. So there are situations that can happen that will interrupt the time And also you can set boundaries for certain days of the week. So if you have, we all have 7 days in a week, and you can have boundaries. This is the day I am going to spend time with my family other than work. And there could be other evenings. So that's how I plan my time. So I make sure that I have time to work, time to spend with the family, and also for other things, just like how I'm doing now. So this is my passion, to share what I really believe in with others so I can help others. I would not have been able to do it if I didn't have boundaries for my time, because your time is the most precious thing in this world. And I also have to say, break from your devices at many cases when you are spending time with your family. Because when you spend a lot of time on your devices, when it's not needed, when it's not required, when you're out of work, outside of work, then you have to balance that timing as well. If you are spending a lot of time on social media, that means you have taken away time from your loved ones or your own personal well-being. And grow in your personal life. It's not just about work. Yes, you have to do a lot of education. You have to educate yourself to learn more about your career, to improve in your career. At the same time, grow in your personal life as well. To learn more about how to eat healthy, how to keep up with your health, and so many other things. Yes, many of you love to hear the news. Yes, you gain knowledge. But there are times you may have to invest a little bit to learn how to improve your personal life also. You should be able to separate work life from personal life so it doesn't encroach on each other. It is a fine balance. So how do you achieve this balance? Care for yourself and prioritize your mental health. So achieving work-life balance requires deliberate action. If you do not firmly plan for personal time, you will never have time to do other things outside of work, says Chris Chansey, career expert and CEO of Amplio Recruiting. So no matter how hectic your schedule might be, you ultimately have control of your time and life. So just because work keeps you busy doesn't mean you neglect personal relationships. Everyone are replaceable at work. And no matter how important you think your job is, the organization will not miss a beat tomorrow if you're gone. So make time for your family and friends. So find the job that you're passionate about. So it was my pursuit for a very long time for work-life balance, which landed me in a job to work for Harvard University in 2015. So I was not actually looking for another job, but the recruiters reached out to me. And the university, the higher education, cannot compensate us for the salary that I was making in a company, in a for-profit organization. And it was a lateral move when I had to go and work for Harvard. I took a pay cut and also lost $5,000 in stock to switch to a job. But I knew I wanted to get educated to complete my post-graduation. So that was a sacrifice that I had to make for 4 years until I completed my master's in management. The entire family had to support me in this. I could not do that alone. My husband took care of so many days to take care of the children, to take care of the house, and so many things. And the children were very understanding. I will never look back at this decision I made, because after 8 years, I am reaping all the benefits of that. I attend trainings at the world-class Harvard Kennedy School for Leadership Programs for free because of the generous scholarships they provide. So if I had just looked at the money and the perks, I would not be standing in front of you today. So that education had changed me to a better person forever, not only to grow personally in my career, but also to contribute back to the community. So be realistic and accept not to be perfect. That takes humility, that you are not going to be perfect in maintaining work-life balance, because no one can judge you on that. It is for your own eyes that you have to feel satisfied. And again, set boundaries for time spent with devices to avoid burnout. So sometimes people use separate emails, separate browsers for work and personal platforms. Sometimes they use even 2 different phones. It all depends on how you want to do this. Have boundaries for your work time. So this coach is saying he encourages people to give 100% during the hours that you get paid for at work. Then log off, shut down. If you're not getting paid for it, you are just volunteering at your job. So no one is going to tell you, stop, take a break. So boundaries are important. And also, we promote this in the United States to help others and volunteer your time. So when you are realistic about your work and your personal life, and you have boundaries, now you will have time to help others. I want to encourage you to mentor people who are new in their own career. That's what we do at work. We volunteer our time to mentor someone across the university who needs help to promote themselves in their job, in their position. So we have great mentoring program in the university that we help each other. I would like to be mentored by other senior leaders, and I like to mentor women and also younger generation. So that's how you achieve balance. Now you feel satisfied that you are able to help others as well. Again, what balance? So this interviewer is asking, do you enjoy spending time with your children? This woman is point blank saying, no, they are boring and needy. They can't even hold a conversation. If I'm being honest, I prefer working long hours so I see less of them. Perfect. You are hired. I mean, I love them, but I don't like them. So this person had to lie so that she can get this job. It is going to hurt in the long run. Probably in the short run, she got the job, but this is something to think about when you are applying for jobs as well. And I want to talk to you about distractions. So there are many things that distracts us from work, from our personal life, from spending time with others. Phone is the major player in this to distract us a lot. And TV, internet, TV, and social media. All these are great technologies. We need technology. Trust me, I work in the technology field. We need technology, but that can also take more control of our lives. That's where we have to be careful. So I read this book called How to Break Up with Your Phone by Catherine Price. And she said the Americans check their phones 47 times a day because we have this thing called FOMO. I don't know if you have heard about it. Fear of missing out. So but if you are between the ages 18 to 24, on an average, you are checking 82 times a day. That adds up to greater than 9 billion phone checks every day for an average American. That means we are spending more than 4 hours per day on our phone. That is 28 hours per week, 112 hours per month, 56 full days a year. So half of us check our phones in the middle of the night. And if you are between the ages 25 to 34, you are checking the phone. You are 75% of you checking it in the middle of the night. So we have texting thumb, text neck, cell phone elbow nowadays. Because 80% of us, we do keep the phones. That's a required thing that we have to have the phone almost all the time of waking hours. And 5 out of 10 Americans agree we cannot imagine our life without a smartphone. And you have to be aware that these devices manipulate our brain chemistry in ways that are known to trigger addictive behaviors. As I said, we need all of these devices, we need technology. But these technology can also trigger a brain chemical called dopamine. So dopamine has many roles by activating pleasure-related receptors in our brains. It teaches us to associate certain behaviors with rewards. Dopamine makes us feel excited, and we like feeling excited. Any experience that triggers the release of dopamine is therefore something that we want to experience again and again. So the ability to anticipate satisfaction is essential for our survival. It motivates us to seek out food, it causes cravings, but in more extreme cases, addictions. So if your brain learns that checking your phone usually results in a reward, it won't take long before your brain releases dopamine. Anytime it's reminded of your phone, you will start to crave it. You will always reach for your phone again and again and again. Even if it's not needed, you are reaching for your phone. So this book actually talks about how to break away from your phone to give a chance to stop and think. Notice your relationship around you. It means setting boundaries between online and offline lives and being conscious and how and why you use your phone. Recognizing that your phone is manipulating on your brain, prioritizing real life relationships over those that take place on screens. You might think you are connected to 1,000 people on social media, but you are literally disconnected from the people around you. So just watch out. Give yourself the space, the freedom, and the tools necessary to create a new long-term relationship with your phone. One that keeps what you love about the phone and get rid of what you don't want that, so that you can feel happy, healthy, over which you have control in your life. So I want to share some of the pointers for how I achieved work-life balance, and it is a continuous process. I cannot say I've achieved it because I'm still working at it. We are, both myself and my husband, we are still working at it to achieve that work-life balance. So I have tried to set priorities and goals in my life, and I'm always paying attention to what is more productive at work and block time off for my most important work-related activities. Even during work, you have to focus. Sometimes we are distracted, even at work. So if you don't have the goals and the priorities, that means you are wasting time, even at work. And that lessons to derail your attention and productivity. So structuring and planning your day can increase productivity at work, which can result in more free time to relax outside of work. 52% of us have unused vacation days, says US Travel Association. I never wrote down how to have work-life balance. I started to read about them. There is this awareness that we were exposed to. And slowly I started to work on it over the course of time. And I wanted to achieve, and I was working on it diligently. As I mentioned, I would not be here if I didn't make that time. if I have been struggling just with managing work and life, there is no time for me to pursue outside of work and outside of personal life, to mentor others, to inform, to motivate people. So take time off and breaks. Those are very important. Even during the weekend, there are times that you need to spend away time from everything else, from all distractions. They also have something called a digital Sabbath, when you just put down your phone and you talk to people in the room, or do exercise, or do meditation, or pursue some of the spiritual activities as well. So we started to take time off. I started to take time off during the summer vacation for our children. And they truly understand at work when we ask that time. I think it is easier when you are a teacher a little bit in this area, that you can get the same time off as the other school time off as well. That is great. So spend time with your family. And delegate as necessary. So it takes humility for you to ask someone to help you. So I would not be here if not for my husband. So delegate things to your spouse, to your children, or someone else who is your friend. So you're not the only one who has to do the physical work and the mental work for your family. So if there is a friend or a family member who's willing to help you, take their help so you can have that balance. So when I started to work, I was not keen on furthering my education. I was happy with my bachelor's education from Anna University. But I knew at some point I had hit the wall, that I had to develop my professional career. So I did. So when I went into Harvard, that's when I was able to get the degree. And I was able to do this with managing work, managing family, and also managing the education as well. And growth mindset. So when I stop learning, that means I'm not alive anymore. That's my philosophy in life. I want to continue learning all the time, how to improve in leadership. And also we are examples for our children to show how we are learning all the time. Yes, you need education, but your learning does not stop with your education. So you can grow in your work and also personally as well. So there is no nobility in not taking well-deserved time off. The benefits of taking a day off far outweigh the downsides, says Chris Chansey, career expert and CEO of Amplio Recruiting. So it's not a one-time fix. It's not one-time thing that you have to do. It's a cycle. It is going to be a good cycle that you can keep improving. You have to pause and denormalize, take time, because if your circumstance has changed, something to do with birth or the death in the family, you have to discover alternate ways of working and living. Pay attention to your emotions. Do you feel energized or resentful or sad? How is the situation making you feel? So awareness of your emotional state is important to determine the changes you want to make in your life. And reprioritize. What am I willing to sacrifice? Our priorities can shift so fast day to day. What is your priority in life? Is your profession aligning with what you want in life? Consider alternatives. How much time do you want to spend with your family or on yourself? Now implement changes, take action. It can be a very private change or a public change. It could be also involving your family, like changing your job, work schedules, putting down your phone to free up time. And invest time to help others. So it's a continuous reevaluation and improvement. So if you are making changes in your life, you must remember to pause, connect with your emotions, rethink your priorities, evaluate alternatives, and implement changes throughout your personal and professional life. Is there something that I can do better? You have to think about it all the time. I have so many books in plain sight, so I can start reading them. I know we have digital books, but that's nothing like holding a book in your hand and reading. It's just a lot of pleasure for me these days, so that I can improve my knowledge and share with others. All I want to do is grow more as a person and also in the career as well. So there seems to be a concept in life that the more you give, the more you receive. So that also brings me a lot of satisfaction. So reevaluate and improve. It's a continuous reevaluation and improvement. So if you are making changes in your life, keep thinking about it. Keep going back and thinking, yes, this is what I want to do. Again, these are some of the concepts that you can adopt. Take holidays, long weekends. You can set goals and plans, have structure in place, love your job, love your life, stay healthy, reward yourself, practice good time management, be positive, passionate, and enthusiastic. So I also want to share in my personal story, what we did was, even though I was about to experience chronic stress and burnout, at some point, what we did was we found a way when our children were in middle school that we brought someone to help us bring them home from school and take care of them until we got home. So that was an investment in money, but that gave us a lot of balance between work and life. And that our children enjoyed that company of new person in our family. And also we were able to educate ourselves and spend time, catch up with work later as well. So no matter what, constantly evaluate your life to improve and make it better for yourself. So I just want you to imagine how life will be with the work-life balance. Just take a moment to imagine this. You will have passion for work. There will be satisfaction in life. And you will have family and friends to support you. And there will be personal growth. So you can see that you will be happy in your career and also in your personal life for yourself too. So this will become a world to be a better place to live. So I want to leave you with some of the key takeaways from this presentation. So the first one is to care for yourself. Health comes first. It is not, work-life balance is not something that you can check and say, I am done. This is a constant caring for yourself, keeping up with your health, and you decide what it is for yourself. And invest in relationships around you, with the people around you. And help others. That will give you a lot of satisfaction and happiness in life. And be realistic, continuously evaluating and how you want to do this. So caring for yourself and others around you will affect your mental and physical health. So this is one of the last quote that I want to leave you with. No one on his deathbed ever said, I wish I had spent more time on my business, which is on work. This was a statement released by Paul Tsongas. He was a US Senator for Massachusetts in 1983. He was diagnosed with a treatable form of cancer, and he was re-evaluating his life choices and opted not to seek re-election. This is when he released this statement. So I just want to leave you with these thoughts, with these final thoughts, and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. It was indeed a delightful and very brilliant session. And we have lots of questions queuing up. So if anyone needs to ask some questions, you can please unmute yourself and ask the question. And I can later on go to the questions that are present in the chat box. For participants, you can also type out the questions in the chat box and we can go one by one.
Nanda, already some students are posted questions.
Yes, ma'am.
in the
Yes,
chat
ma'am.
box. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I'm looking.
Hi, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Kamesh from San Academy. I am alumni of Loyola College of Education. I am very good evening, ma'am. Actually, in Indian culture, we are facing so many kind of conflicts with the colleagues. So when we are having a kind of suggestions or it's a kind of improvement for the institution, when we are proposing a kind of advice or suggestions, the people are not coming with us, which means they are not accepting what we are telling most of the times. So in these kind of conflicts, how we can manage in work-life balance now?
I would say I'm going to answer these questions to the best of my abilities, but I would defer some of these to leadership in your university as well. So I would say, in my personal experience, we always have to advocate for yourself. So there will be cases that no one understands what you're trying to say, but keep advocating for yourself, because the culture in India will change with young and educated people like you. And also you can have clubs with people who support you and write articles and also do speeches and do other things that will influence the culture around you. I would defer this to Sri Devi, madam, if you want to answer some of these questions as well, and to anyone else in the leadership of the university.
Okay, ma'am, shall we go with the questions in the chat box one by one? Okay, the first question is from Mr. Vignesh Vanan. He's asking, how important is it to be empathetic in work-life culture? How important is it to be empathetic in work-life culture, ma'am? Yes.
Sure. So if you have to convince yourself how much you want to achieve work-life balance, so when you are convinced, then it becomes important for you. So no one can tell you it's important unless you start to believe that it is important for yourself. So then at that point, it becomes emphatic for yourself. I'm not sure if I'm making sense about this, because I was reading a lot of articles and also hearing people talk about work-life balance. At that point, it didn't make sense to me because I couldn't really fathom how this could be achieved. So I would encourage you to do more analysis by yourself. Go read about it. This is just, I have whet your appetite. That's all I have done at this point. I cannot cover everything and resolve all the issues in an hour, or even your leadership team cannot resolve this for you on behalf of you. So you have to do the groundwork and see if you want to achieve this for yourself. You have to feel it. You have to have a desire for that to achieve in your life. Hope that makes sense.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Sorry to intervene. I
Yes.
think the question was not to find out how emphatic the person should be, but how empathetic.
Yes.
I see. Okay. That is thank you. Thank you for letting us know, Father. I think that is a totally different question. It becomes a different dynamics. So it will be great to have people around you who are empathetic, but don't expect that, because not everyone are going to be as educated, as passionate as you are. And you have to be patient with them as well, because you have to live a life that will show them what work-life balance is. So it is important by example that you can show them, and you cannot do it on behalf of them, but be patient with them until they can recognize that.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Can we go to the next question, ma'am? We have
Sure.
quite a few here. Okay. There is another question. How can a teacher teach this topic work-life balance to their students and help them to implement it in their life?
I think as a teacher, probably you may have to show yourself as an example, because your students are watching how you're doing things. Because I would say this to the parents, that don't tell your children to put down their phones when you are always on your phone. So it speaks, I think action speaks louder than words in this case. And you could possibly do some reading about this for teachers specifically, and also for students as well. And you can share this with your students in the beginning or at the end of your session and say, these are some of the things that you can follow in your life. So work-life balance is not about, being lazy at work or at education. It's being more organized. So when you are talking to your students about being more organized, plan how you want to study for your exam and how you want to do your assignments every day. And then you can possibly say, when you're done with your assignments, go enjoy. Enjoy what you want to do in life. Pursue your passion for life. So these are very logical thinking as well. And you can talk to them because you have experienced it. If you didn't experience it, it will become harder for you to share that with your students. So I would encourage the educators to take it upon themselves to implement to certain level of work-life balance in their own life.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. There's one more question. How to manage conflict which arises with family and peer group while balancing work and life?
It's a great question. So my disclaimer is I'm not going to be able to solve this in 2 minutes, but you can evaluate this. So as educators or as students, you do a lot of reading, you do a lot of writing. So in those cases, this is what I have done. In many cases, I would just go for a walk, nature walk. I would think through all these situations, and sometimes you have to take a step back about your situation and think through these things. What do you want to achieve out of this? And you can work with your family, work with your peers, and work with your colleagues as well to achieve some balance. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not. But you may have to continuously work towards what do you want to achieve in life. You have to sometimes write it down or prioritize at that point based on if it is a life event happening, then some of the things in the family may take priority over work. But if something is happening at work, work can take priority over family during certain periods of time. So you have to decide, how do you want to prioritize life and work?
Thank you, ma'am. We just have two more questions. How can women professional, especially teaching profession, overcome the impact of work-life balance in a day-to-day life? How can professional, especially in teaching profession, overcome the impact of work life in a day-to-day life?
So I think I'm just thinking through this because
Yes.
it is a loaded question. So yes, as women, I would say it is hard, and also I would say that women have more drive towards achieving this because they are, if women learn and if they are convinced, they will achieve it no matter what. So I know the drive that I had in my life. And you may not be able to achieve it every single day, but have a desire for that. The starting point is to have a desire. And then how do you want to achieve it is up to you. And I would say growing up in Chennai, in Tamil Nadu, I would say the culture is really encouraging for the women to be educated. I was really good in math. I was surprised when I came to the United States, people around me said women are not good in math. I said, how is it possible? So I think the culture around you is very supportive for the women to get educated. But how you derive, how you establish work-life balance is up to you. Take time to think about it. You know, spend a couple of hours on a weekend thinking about it. Because if you don't take the effort and time to think, to prioritize about this, no one else can do this for you. If you are convinced about this, and then you talk to your family about this and say, this is what I want, this is what I want to pursue, who can help me? So influence them to help you. Don't command them to help you. Nobody will agree for that. So influence them. So you become an influencer because now you are convinced you can influence the people around you. So that's why I said it's not a magic bullet. It's not going to give you a medication. If you take this every day, you are going to be fine. That's not how it works. This is a very conscious effort that you have to put in. No matter whether you're a man or a woman, if you are a professional, then that means you have to handle this more professionally. As I mentioned during my presentation, this is like having some part of your job, how to achieve work-life balance.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. We have one last question. As teachers, how can we provide for our students a balanced school work-life environment?
So that is very tough because I have my children working on homework until 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. in the morning. So that is why I said there are times that you have to work towards long working hours. There is a possibility. So the teachers can encourage the students and say, okay, this week, pay attention. This is coming. The assignments are going to be harder. The exams are coming. So be prepared. Prepare yourself until you get to the exams, until you get to the assignments. That's what we do at work as well. I tell my direct reports, this is a project that we have to do. So I give them a heads up and say, be ready. You have to be awake in the night to finish an assignment. And when you give them enough, and be assured, some people are not listening. Some students won't listen to you, but it's up to them. You cannot control their actions, but at least you have done what you could do from your best efforts. Being a teacher, then now you have informed them that the exams are coming, that the assignments are coming, and give them a plan so that they can plan themselves. Even as an adult, I am going through some college courses. I have to go to an on-campus weekend for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I won't have that weekend to enjoy, but it's not happening all the time. It's once during the semester. So that means we plan for it. So I've already told my family, be ready. I'm not going to be there. So then my husband helps me. The children are, given a heads up. So I would say then teachers could be even more proactive, even more planning and organized so that the students know when they are going to work harder. There will be times in your life that you have to work harder, and then you come out of it. Then what do you do when you come out of it? You relax, you enjoy, prepare yourself, you are refreshed, go back again so that you don't have to go through chronic stress or burnout. Hope that helps.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for patiently answering all the questions. And yes, and the only thing that I have to read from the chat is almost dozens of thank you and greetings and wishes for you. So now, for the formal vote of thanks, I would like to invite the principal of Loyola College of Education, Dr. L. Kulandai Theresil. Ma'am, please.
Good evening, one and all. I'm very much happy to thank Mrs. Josephine Nancy Jagasilvan, Production Manager, Information Systems, Harvard Medical School, who, in spite of her hectic schedule, has accepted our invitation to share her experiences and expertise on work-life balance. Thank you, madam, for your wonderful words of motivation to achieve work-life balance, effects of working long hours, and tips for a long, happy, and healthy career and life. I owe a special thanks to Reverend Father V. Saharaj S.J., Secretary, Loyola College of Education, for all his guidance towards the organization of this webinar. I express my immense thanks to Ms. Sridevi, Coordinator of Training and Placement Cell, LCE, and her team for coordinating and organizing this excellent webinar, which is a great benefit for all. I thank all the faculty of LCE for motivating and encouraging our students to take part in this webinar, and the non-teaching staff for your support towards the webinar. I also thank Mr. Jay Kumar, librarian, LCE, for the technical assistance on conducting today's program in WebEx platform. I especially thank all the faculty and students of LCE and various institutions and everyone who have actively participated in this session and made this a resounding success.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone. I request everyone to please raise for the
Before
national
that,
anthem.
Professor Nanda, is it possible for some of the people, to switch on their camera and then we can take a photo?
Yes, Father. Yes, sure,
Please,
Father.
please do that. And thank you very much, ma'am. On my own behalf, I would like to express my sincere thanks to you. Your session was extremely enriching and insightful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome, Father. You're welcome.
Participants, if you could please switch on your video for a minute, we all can take a photograph.
Yeah. Who is taking the photo, by the way?
We are just like taking.
No, I am taking Father.
Okay,
Taking
okay, okay,
screenshot.
okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
ஆகுது, மாறுது.
கட் மட்டும் பண்ணாத, ஆன் மட்டும் பண்ணு. வீடியோ மட்டும் ஆன் பண்ணு.
கட் பண்ணிடாத. நீங்க போட்டோ எடுங்க. Yes, Father.
Thank you, Father. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, participants. Please fill in the feedback forms to get the certificates. The feedback form is there in the group, and we request the participants to please fill it up to get your certificates.
Nancy, then மறந்து போச்சு.
Good evening, all. This is Dr. Carolyn Maria from Bangalore. Congratulations to the entire LCE family. I miss you all very much and the very good edifying session. And I would like to congratulate the speaker, the resource person of the day, with her life, a family experience, how well she has given us a very good a part of this. Congratulations to Father, Principal Ma'am, as well as Sridevi Ma'am and Jasmine Ma'am and all the other faculty members of Loyola College of Education. Miss you all so much.
Thank you, Carolyn ma'am.
Thank you, Carolyn ma'am.
Yeah.
Nancy ma'am, thank you so much for accepting our invitation. It's very nice session, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much. Dear participants, please fill in the feedback forms. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the great opportunity. It is more of a breaking ground for me. I have been thinking about doing this for a year.
We are blessed.
Thank you so much, ma'am. On behalf of all the LCE students, thank you so much, ma'am. Since we are in final year and we are about to start our work life, it was very enriching and very empowering from a side. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for saying that word. That's exactly my goal, to empower everyone with information.
Okay, Nanda, can we finish?
Yes, Father. So,
national anthem.
Thank you so much. Please rise for the national anthem. Thank you so much, participants. You can please leave you'll get the e-certificate soon and you can fill in the feedback forms. It will also be circulated in the WhatsApp groups for the same. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Josephine ma'am. Thank you very much. And I'll catch you up later. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Have a good evening. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Carolyn ma'am, nice to have seen you. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Participants, you can please leave once you filled in the feedback forms. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Nanda. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sridevi ma'am. Sridevi ma'am is there?
Yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir.
think she
Ma'am is
left.
there.
I think she's busy right now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So convey my wishes. Actually, I'm alumni of LCE 2014 batch pass out. And it's a wonderful session actually. I really impressed and it is very much useful for the upcoming generation as well as those who are working as a teachers also. So
Thank you, sir.
convey my thanks to entire team as well as you can conduct these kind of webinars which will be very much useful for the upcoming teachers as well as those who are doing as a teaching job. Thank you so much, Nanda.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. Jaykumar sir, can you please end the meeting?
Okay, Nanda, okay.